Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Christina, and I'll be your host for today's webinar, Empowering Your Sales Team with AI using HubSpot and CPQ to make sales quotas faster. You know, AI is becoming more than just a buzzword, and as I think we all know, we're all kind of turning toward AI tools in some way, shape, or form to help streamline our own jobs, increase efficiency, and even speeding close rates. And we're really excited to have such a great speaker lineup today to weigh in on this topic. So with that, I'll go ahead and check in with our speakers. First, we have Charlie Vliestra, who heads up the agency partner solutions over at HubSpot. Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Hi, Christina. I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. And next we have Jagadish Bandhole, who is the founder and CEO of Mobileforce. Hey, Jagadish.
Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone. Great to be here.
Cool, great. And finally, we have Chris Thornton, who's CEO of Open Path Solutions, a key partner of HubSpot providing lead to cash solutions. Hey, Chris.
Hey, hi, everyone. Great being here today.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. And before we kick things off, I'll just run you guys through the agenda here. Charlie's going to start things off by talking about HubSpot's role in prospecting and sales and cover some of the new cool AI features that they've been working on. And then after that, we'll have Jagadish talk about how successful sales teams are taking their RevOps to the next level. And then Chris is going to cover the impact of AI across the sales organization and how that all sort of ties together. So we'll follow that with a Q&A and then wrap up. I think with that, I'll just go ahead and pass you over to our CMO at Mobileforce here, Phil Levinson, who's going to talk about some of the key market trends for 2023. Go ahead, Phil, take it away.
Thanks so much, Christina. So I want to set the stage for today's topic and discussion for this webinar. And in doing so, let's look at what buyers are saying. These are business buyers. These are studies done by both DocuSign and Forrester. And there's a clear theme. First, inefficient processes are not only slowing sales, they're delaying revenues, and there's some devastating implications. If you look at the lower right, what we saw is 45% of all buyers have reported inefficient or manual or mistake-prone processes during the sales or contracting or closing processes of making a sale. And what are the effects of that? Well, the effects, if you look at the left-hand side, 2/3 of all sales quotes are ending without a purchase. Really a surreal, very high, too high of a number. And on the upper right, you're seeing roughly the same, 65% are experiencing delays in closing business and recognizing revenues. So you're seeing the effect of this inefficiency both at the beginning of a sales process and at the end in terms of getting it closed and ramping up the revenue recognition and the service. So that's really key. That's what customers are saying. And if you look at the next slide, we'll see what sales teams are saying. Because when you talk to sales teams in this survey, you'll see that two big things are coming out of that. First, we asked both sales teams and operations teams and their leaders, what are your top challenges and pain points? And this was done in the Mobileforce CPQ survey we did. And the three that they cited were first, inefficiency related to pricing and quoting steps and processes. That was number one. Number two, tediousness and problems with the back and forth approvals or compliance steps that they had to take in order to get a sales deal approved and closed. And third, the manual processes and mistakes that are tied to the quote to contract steps that they have to take. So the combination of these three pain points being reported by sales teams and ops teams themselves, and what we're hearing from B2B buyers, is really providing a lot of pain. And especially in 2023, when sales are harder to come by than we've seen, that cannot happen. So that provides some context to what we'll be talking about here. And with that, let's hear more about what HubSpot is doing from one of my favorite people to work with. We'll hand it over to Charlie Vliestra. Hey, Charlie.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. And hi, everyone. It's nice to be here, and I'm excited to walk you all through HubSpot solution to empower your sales team in 2023. Just starting off, right? I know a lot of you are familiar with HubSpot, but I did want to take a step back and explain, right, like what HubSpot is and how we fit into this. So HubSpot is a CRM platform and with a number of tools to support people all the way from anonymous to your best customer who's promoting your service. And we were voted the number one global software company by G2 in 2023. I'm always skeptical of those types of awards, but you can look to see what went into that, and it's really proud of that. Just a couple of companies we work with. I just like to show this. It's really fun to see the range of everything from Tinder and TikTok to GoFundMe and LegalZoom. So we do best in the B2B space. We do have a lot of customers in B2C as well. But here are just a few. So taking a step back, why was HubSpot created in the first place? It was created to solve this problem, right? We understand that a lot of companies, as you're growing, you're bringing on a bunch of new technologies and just kind of one by one, right? And that ends up creating this, what we call a cobbled tech stack from each stage of the buyer journey. And you can, think through the challenges that exist with that. The systems don't talk with each other. The departments aren't aligned. A lot of times the integrations will break or there aren't any, right? So, and this is how we solve for that. So you'll see at the middle here, the customer platform is at the center of everything that we do. We have 6 core products around that: sales, marketing, customer service, operations, CMS, and commerce. But today we're going to be talking really, I guess, all about Sales Hub. I don't think I'll even touch on the other ones. So we just had our annual conference beginning of September, and we relaunched our sales tool. And what this has allowed us to do is we're just better positioned to replace existing sales software, things like Salesforce for deal management and data customization, SalesOft and Outreach.io for prospecting and sales automation, and then even tools like Clarity for some AI forecasting and more in-depth reports. And we'll dig into each one of these in a few slides here. So, we know in 2023, effective B2B selling has changed. Phil touched on that. This is the old playbook, right? It was always more reps, more activities, more tools, and that creates a problem. It's the crisis of disconnection, headcount, ROI, right? Getting the money back from what you're investing into your business. So today it's all about being smarter and more effective. So it's the rifle approach, versus the shotgun approach of doing targeted efforts to reach your buyer's market with relevant, personalized content at each stage of the journey. So we're going to be talking about the intelligence side of things today with a lot of new AI features that HubSpot has launched, as well as Mobileforce. So starting with the most foundational element, deal management, right? So companies need to organize sales into one singular place. So just a place for your sales team to come in and see where things stand, right? Edit deal stages at each stage, and then do things like, you can drag and drop between just to easily move people along, assign tasks to people at various stages, rotate leads to sales teams, right? So there's a lot of automation that exists around making the most use out of the deal management tool. But before someone, right, becomes a deal, you're gonna have to prospect into them. So there's also a need for a single location for all of your prospects. And this was just launched. This is our prospecting workspace. And it really just helps salespeople to stay focused with a singular view. And it's complete with all of the tools that they need to reach out to their prospects. So everything from tasks that are on their list to automated sequences that are going out, their calendars, right? So as you're trying to get people to move from a lead to a deal, this prospecting workspace will really enable sales teams to do that. So along with prospecting, I'm sure many of you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and we just launched a partnership with LinkedIn. And what this will allow you to do is just better sync the data between the two. It's a bidirectional sync with a number of fields, so that when you're doing outreach in each platform, it's not disjointed, and you can reach out to people through HubSpot and through LinkedIn, and have those outreaches be personalized for them. And then as sales leaders, you're familiar with the idea of sales automation. So at HubSpot, we do automation through two different ways. We have workflows and then sequences. So sequences are a series of one-to-one targeted emails and tasks that you can create to just reach out to people directly. And so it's a one-to-one email. So these are coming from Outlook or from Gmail, but you do all the scheduling in here. And then it just feels as if it's you behind the keyboard typing it up, and even more so when you use things like personalization tokens to make it personalized to whatever it is you're reaching out about. Some cool features there is you can reply within the thread, so it looks like a true follow-up. You can also create a new email thread if that subject line wasn't working or you have something else to talk about. And then set unenrollment criteria if they respond to your email or if they book a meeting, right? We don't want to keep following up and it's like, oh, you booked a meeting, but I'm still trying to get you to book a meeting. Like that's never good. So some great stuff there. And then we just launched a bunch of new features around sequences, but the one I love the most is the A/B testing. So at any email step, you can split it up into a 50-50 experiment and just try different templates and allow our system to pause the ones that aren't performing and continue the ones that are. So I just ran a workshop actually with one of our corporate sales reps here at HubSpot, and this is like my favorite feature. And she actually was saying she attributes her success here at HubSpot to this feature. So predictive lead scoring, right? We know we have a lot of user data in our CRM that may signify buying intent. So with this feature, you can it'll automatically assign a percentage of likelihood to close based on actions they're taking, maybe on your website or emails they're opening, right? And it uses machine learning to get better and better as you're closing more deals to give your salespeople a way to prioritize their leads, right? So you would sort by the predictive lead score likelihood to, and go after the ones that are more likely. So really great stuff there. And I just a lot of these things I think are good in theory, but to hear from our corporate reps, one of our top performers, that this is ultimately leading to her success was really cool. Another new AI feature is the AI forecasting and report builder. So when you're executing on a sales strategy, you need to know what's working and also how to project revenue. So now you can predict revenue more accurately with the help of AI. And there's really two things, right? So there's AI projection as well as accuracy tracking. So the AI projection actually examines data in your system. So things like open deals, deal amounts, close rates historically, between each deal stage, and it automatically generates a forecast. Now, your finance team may push back on this at first. They have a way to forecast things, and that's where accuracy tracking comes in. So you can evaluate your manual forecast submission in Excel or whatever you're using against a new AI-powered projection, just to see how close were you to the target. Who won? Was it your CRM or was it your finance team? So just all in an effort to get a better idea of what will close in the future. And I keep saying these are my favorite tools. This is actually my favorite tool that we just launched. It's called AI Content Assistant. And on the sales side, it really enables them to be more efficient. So in just minutes, you can generate hundreds of sales emails and drafts, supporting blog articles, social posts, even images. You can tell it to generate a specific image directly within HubSpot, and it'll do that for you. So what's also great is it'll use customized data within the CRM to better personalize these AI-generated emails. So things like what company they work for, maybe which deal stage they're at or which product they're interested in, and give your sales team a starting point for maybe some outreach or some sequences. There's a bunch of different use cases for this, but just to name a few, it's actually, I'll get into those in a second. But what also is cool is you can change things within something that it was generated. You can highlight it and edit the length, edit the spelling, or even the tone. You can choose professional, helpful, witty, formal, optimistic, and just play around with a tone that works best for you and your business. I love that tool. And similarly, ChatSpot is our AI-powered CRM assistant, and you can basically tell it to do anything in your CRM and send it a series of prompts, things like research company X, right? So if you're doing prospecting and you want to know more on that company, that would be the command. Draft an email to prospect name and tell them about our latest offering. You can even have them add contacts on the fly without having to click around, and reports as well. So show me a bar graph month over month for 2023 with the number of calls made by each rep. And if it's not perfect, it's conversational AI, right? So you can say, actually, remove this, add this, and just talk to it like you would a person. Lastly, once you've worked somebody through your sales process and they're ready to purchase, you will obviously need a quote. And HubSpot does have a CPQ tool built in, and it allows you to create branded sales quotes and leverage that CRM data so that it's customized to them. Some great things it can do here for sure, but I will say it is limited. I mean, HubSpot doesn't try to do everything well, and that's where we rely on partners like Mobileforce to come in and pick up where HubSpot leaves off. So, we are a singular platform for your business. We can work across all the different departments, right? But we do not try to do everything, and that's where the app marketplace comes in. We have over 1,500 native integrations built in there that you can hook up with just a click of a button. So, Mobileforce is in there as well. They've built an integration to make it very easy to hook up to their CPQ tool. And so with that, I will pass it over to Jagadish, and he can walk through the Mobileforce solution.
Thank you, Charlie. That was a great overview of some of the AI-powered features. It's pretty exciting in HubSpot. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So picking up from where Charlie left off, I'm going to focus on the last third of the sales cycle. As Phil spoke earlier, the last third of the sales cycle is where a lot of B2B sellers are facing challenges in terms of speeding up that coding and proposal process, collaborating with their potential customers to quickly come to an agreement and completely generate that agreement as agreed upon, and then kind of formalizing that into a signed contract. So Mobileforce as a company, we are a HubSpot certified partner. We extend and augment HubSpot CRM specifically in what we would like to think of as RevOps automation, revenue operations. We have a number of capabilities and automations that are built to help both the administrative side, the sales operations and revenue operation side, as well as the sellers. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the administration side to start with, and logically that will have an impact of radically simplifying the seller experience, and I'll come to that later. So to look at from the perspective of administrators, the CPQ is not a new tool or a new system. There have been CPQ systems around for a number of years, and a lot of the generation 1 CPQ systems required a lot of manual work and coding in order to sort of administratively set up the right systems, the right rules, the right policies, etc. in place. So what we did when we designed this right from the ground up with a totally new architecture, which really focused on self-service. So that means enabling administrators, sales operations teams to be completely self-empowered, self-service, where they can make changes, whether it's bundling, promotions, new product packaging, new kinds of pricing schemes. They can very quickly do those things. That was the central focus of our design, and that's the system we brought to market. And it's really helping lots and lots of organizations bring that agility and efficiency back into the mix. We focus on sales teams to help submit their quotes very quickly and accurately, even for the most complex product sets and configurations, whether they're online or offline. So those are some of the key things that we've brought to market that didn't exist in sort of the generation one. And we've done that in a way by making the product very user-centric. That means our system is built and designed from the ground up with a new architecture where it can mold itself very well to any kind of sales motion you have. Whatever the seller's workflow is, whatever the sales motion you have, and you might have multiple within a single company, depending on different target markets, depending on different kinds of sales workflows you have, whether it's a new logo or whether it's an upsell or a cross-sell or a renewal, you have different sales motions, and our product is designed to mold itself very well, to making it very user-centric. And we do all of this by the ability to define that workflow and that interface, the seller user interface and those workflows yourself through a no-code platform. It doesn't require any coding, so you don't have to rely on external sources or a lot of internal programming effort, which was generally the case in CPQ systems that have been in the market in the past few years. So the old way is, sales practitioners, you have to rely on a lot of coding and complex configuration work, whether it has, whenever you have to institute a best practice around multiple levels of approvals or product configuration rules. If you buy product A, you cannot buy product B or C. That's an example of a type of rule that I'm referring to, or integration with multiple systems that might be influencing your quoting. For example, an inventory management system. You don't want sellers to quote on products that may not be available. That's an example of a data integration. And you want to make sure that those kinds of integrations are easy to implement and control and configure on an ongoing basis. Bundles and product and pricing rules are a very common thing nowadays, especially in the B2B sector. That's another thing that we wanted to simplify. And then finally, intelligent recommendations. Can you recommend the right kind of upsells and cross-sells to sellers so they don't have to remember it all in their head or write it down so that they can add those to the quote? So these are the key pain points that we heard from our customers, and that's what we focused on in our new way that we brought to market. We are putting the power back in the hands of practitioners. Certainly, we are here as a team to always assist you in areas where you want to draw the line and you want to do things yourself with your control, and things where you need some expert assistance. So whether it's Chris and his team from Open Path or us from Mobileforce, we will always be available to kind of help. But the key thing here is a lot of the administrative functions here are designed to be self-service and self-controllable, whether it's pricing rules, product rules, or approval rules, or intelligent recommendations. These are all, our product is designed right from the ground up so that you could do these things yourself. Your business analysts can manage these things yourself. So that's what I wanted to highlight here. This has a lot of downstream ramifications. Doing this actually enables your sellers in pretty impactful ways. It helps them stay in their lane. It helps them pre-populate a lot of information and automate a lot of the workflow, so they could go through the quoting process very, very quickly and accurately. They can't inadvertently misconfigure a quote or make mistakes, because the rules will make sure that they stay in the lane and it will auto enforce and auto correct those things. So it has a lot of ramifications downstream in terms of the seller experience, which also translates to a better customer experience because they can get quotes out quickly and more accurately. So I'm going to pass it off to Chris, from Open Path, to talk a little bit about other things that we do from a RevOps perspective. And then I'm going to talk about how the seller experience gets impacted from some of these things that we've built here. So Chris, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Jagadish. Appreciate it. Okay, what I want to do is talk just a little bit about AI. There's really two main areas of AI. There's machine learning, which really just takes data, reporting, analysis, and makes it more user-friendly. The generative AI is what we've been talking about today. It can take human inputs, it can take data, and it can create something new. And that's really what everybody is excited about. So when we look at HubSpot, HubSpot is a fantastic tool. Mobileforce CPQ, we've been very impressed with Mobileforce, but the magic happens when you combine these. If we look at this diagram in the center, HubSpot does a fantastic job of attracting, educating, qualifying sales leads, and helping the sales team look at the insights that have been collected along that journey and use that information in the quoting process. Then we've got the CPQ process from Mobileforce, which is really good, as Jagadish had mentioned, when it's a more complex quoting task with rules and dependencies and approval flows and discounting and all those kind of things. But the real secret here is once the deal is closed or won, hopefully won, we can sync that information back into HubSpot and we can start that journey all over. So the marketing team has the insights that comes from the sales and quoting process to continuously optimize that sales funnel. So what we're going to do today, and Charlie and Jagadish did a great job with some really colorful slides and talking about what HubSpot and Mobileforce together can do. What we're going to do here is actually show you some video clips inside a demo that we built out for software service companies. So we're going to look at that AI generated sales email that Charlie talked about. We're going to look at a summary function that summarizes emails when you're getting ready to quote. We'll look a little bit at the deal pipeline and how it progresses through the steps, through the sales steps. Then Jagadish will jump back on and actually demo a quote generation in Mobileforce CPQ for software service companies. He's got a little demo for AI functions in Mobileforce, and then he'll kick it back over to me to wrap it up. So with that, the first thing we're going to look at is this AI generated email. And in this situation, I'm using Gmail, but we can actually click on the button, and this is what Charlie showed in his slide. You can pick, okay, we're going to do an introduction email. What are we selling? Kind of punch in the product that we're talking about. Who you selling to? And in this demo, it's going to be me. And I'm an easy buyer. I'll probably approve it. Now, this is interesting. What we do here is we can actually just cut information from a sales sheet or from the website and drop it in here as text. Then we come in and set the tone. So for this example, professional, witty, we're going to be optimistic because we're an optimistic salesperson. We're going to click generate the email. It takes just a few seconds. It'll come back and it'll give us some text. Now, I would probably read through it and tweak it a little bit, but it would take me 45 minutes to get to this point from scratch. Click a button, insert it back into Gmail, and here we have it in Gmail. Now, our Gmail is integrated with our HubSpot instance. So as we clean up a little bit here, and hopefully in the future, we won't even have to do that. The AI will do it for us. But here we're going to log it to the HubSpot CRM, and then we're going to track it. So that way we can see if somebody has opened the email, how many times, have they clicked on links if we put links in, etc. So that's the AI generated email, and that's pretty easy to do. This is one I really like. It's when you're working a deal, especially if there's multiple people emailing back and forth with the prospect on your sales team, what this lets us do, and we have these in the conversations function in HubSpot, but what I spend a lot of time doing is I go back and I read through these emails that have been written. And, you know, you've got to understand the tone, you've got to understand the progression of the deal, but you've really got to boil it down to what is the summary? What do I need to do? What do I need to quote? Or how do I need to get ready for this next meeting that's coming up? And so what the AI function does is it looks through all of these emails, and we're just showing them to you here just so you can see that there's quite a few emails. And then we're going to come down and we're going to ask it to summarize this for us. So we click comment, we click the little button down here, and it will summarize the email. And it's actually going to come in and it's going to say what software product I'm interested in, you know, how many people on the design team. So how many people do I need, you know, seats for? We're going to copy this and we're going to drop it into the actual deal so that we can reference it here in a moment. And here we are in the deal pipeline. So I want to show you what that looks like. So this is in HubSpot in the sales portal. And this is the deal. It's Cardinal Projects is what we call this one. And what I want to do is show you the deal pipelines. So in this particular situation, we're showing you the new logo sales pipeline. So these are new logo sales, but we also have, because it's SaaS, we have a renewal sales pipeline. We also have an expansion sales pipeline, and we could just as easily add a service pipeline to this. And then there are stages. Each one of these pipelines may have different stages: qualified to buy, presentation schedule, decision maker bought in. In this particular case, Cardinal Products is ready for the proposal stage. So we moved it over to the proposal stage. Then we're going to click back into the deal. And then we can look at the various components of information that are in the deal. We see the amount of the deal, the projected close date, the pipeline it's in. Here's those notes that we had summarized a little bit earlier. You know, it will have other information like the confidence level, etc. And we're ready to quote this thing. So we are going to click on the Mobileforce CPQ. You can see it's fully integrated within HubSpot. And we are going to click that button and it kicks it over. So Jagadish, it's over to you for you to do your demo now.
All right. Thanks, Chris. And there you go. I'm going to continue this part of the demo live, actually, so you can kind of see how it works. So I'm back on the Cardinal Projects deal here in my HubSpot instance. And I'm just going to click on the new CPQ proposal, which is what Chris did. It's single sign-on, so you don't have to remember anything, any new credentials. It automatically integrates bidirectionally with HubSpot. It's natively integrated. And as you can see here, a new quote session is started. This is a software as a service company example that I'm using. I have a customer here, Cardinal Projects, who's interested in our Access Lite line of products. And this particular template, going back to my earlier slides about how revenue operations teams can design the user experience or the seller experience precisely to the sales motions that you have. This is an example of that, live example of that. All the tabs that you see here, the customer tab where you choose the customer whom you want to address it to. In this case, let's say I'm selling it to Chris here, so I pick up his contact from HubSpot. All of these drop down information is coming transparently from HubSpot. And you can see it pre-populates all of the information from the CRM. And then I can go in, and these tabs here and the exact sequence of steps, the workflows I have, they can all be configured very quickly without any coding, no code, by your operations team under the CPQ setup. You can pretty practically control every aspect of the exact seller experience within this yourself. In this case, I'm going to continue on to quote it. And you can see a lot of these things is already pre-populated based on those rules and those guardrails I talked about. It already knows I want to quote on licenses and professional services. You could see it has set up a recurring line items table for me and a non-recurring line items for one-time items. Here, I could quite simply add a product by clicking on add line items, and I can kind of look at all the different products from the catalog. I can pick different things. I can see different views. I can search on different SKUs and products. In this case, let's say I want to go ahead and add a task management and a workflow optimization module. I could add those two, and it gets added to the quote. You can see that here, and I can go and select the quantities and how many seats I want for each one of these. And then one of the things that you can see here is there's pretty fine-grained access control you have in how you want to set up the rules. For example, you can and cannot allow, for example, line item level discounting. You could add rules to say discounting is allowed, and by how do you discount? Do you discount by percentage or amount, or either one is acceptable? So all of these rules can be set up to be done line item level discounting. One of the things you can also do is you can also set up rules to automatically discount. So for example, if I go on and add another product here called Access Lite, you can see that the discount automatically defaulted to 10%, because there was a rule in place where it said if the customer is buying three products, it automatically sets to 10% discount. Similarly, if I go add another item, the discount might bump up to a different amount. So once all of these things are done, the system has an auto validation built in. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to manually validate it and make sure the quote is valid. And this is an example of how the system keeps the sellers honest in their guardrails. And if there's something that needs to be corrected, it'll automatically correct. For example, there is a special end of the quarter promotion here, which is an additional 10% off, and it automatically applied that. So as a seller, I don't have to remember it. If there are one-time items that I need to do to add some setup and professional services to go along with that, I could add all of that, and that gets added. And everything gets calculated for you, your MRR, your ARR, all of those things that get calculated. If it requires an approval, it will automatically let the seller know that this requires an approval because it's over a particular discount amount, for example. That could be a rule, and the seller can submit this for approval. And as you can see, I cannot move to complete the rest of the process and the proposal, generate a proposal until the quote is approved. So an approval request goes out, and typically it goes out to approvers, and that can all be customized, just like you can customize your email templates in HubSpot. This is how an approval request comes in. The approver can just simply do a one-click approve. It's already mobile optimized, so they can do it on their mobile device. If they would like to further inspect it, they can click on go to quote, and the approver will have a lockdown view. In this case, I'm logged in as an administrator, so it sort of gives me this view as well. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and approve this. So as an approver, they can also type in comments, and they can approve it. And once they approve it, the seller gets a notification back that their quote was approved. You could have multiple levels of approval as well, and the entire approval history is kept track of here. And notice that magically the generated docs appears here because now the system knows it's completely approved. Digital signatures are things that are supported as well. So you could digitally sign it if you so wish here, and then you can proceed to generate a proposal. And the proposals can be branded. You could use a lot of templates. You could have a multiple page proposal, a single page proposal, etc. In this case, this gets generated, and you could see this is a completely branded multiple page proposal. that you could have. You could have a single a quoting table. You could have multiple pages with customer testimonials and other marketing, a more colorful template if you wish, and the system automatically populates all the information from the quote and the CRM so that the proposal is ready to go. We also have integration with DocuSign and other e-signature platforms, so you could even send it via HubSpot e-signature or DocuSign or any other third-party e-signature platforms as well. But once you do all of that, you could see here, you could say, okay, the customer received it, they accepted the proposal. You could then save it back into HubSpot. You could advance it to the next stage where you've saved the quote and update the HubSpot by saying that quote has been sent now. And then when you come out of the quoting session, you could see that the system automatically updates the HubSpot deal with the amount here. It updates the stage. It adds an activity, and it also updates the document, adds the document that you generated into HubSpot itself. It also adds all of the line items, the product line items that I created here, that I chose. So you could continue to do all of the reporting in the CRM, and it also adds the attachments. So that's a very quick walkthrough of how quickly and accurately you can generate quotes. And a lot of it is thanks to all of that automation, the rules, and the no-code platform that enables the sales operations people to actually very quickly set this up in conjunction with HubSpot. Now, we don't stop right there. We actually go one step beyond. We are living in the world of AI, and there's a lot of innovation we are bringing by leveraging AI and to take this to the next level. So how do we take this to the next level? One of the things that we do that we've heard from our customers is an area where AI can be used quite a bit is as a co-pilot or as a live assistant. So as sellers go through those workflows, as simple as it is that I showed you, sometimes a little bit of assistance and automation can go a long way in speeding up that process even further, but also providing them a little bit more context in terms of upsells and cross-sells. So let's look at how that works here. So I'm going to go through a scenario here where we have a customer. In this case, let me actually put this in full screen so you could kind of see through this. We have a customer, NAFCOM Security, who's got a salesperson, Jim, who is going to be doing some quoting process here. So Jim comes to the system, and first thing, we call it Ask CPQ. You could pretty much ask just in the same vein as ChatSpot that Charlie talked about. You come to Ask CPQ, and it provides you a live assistant. So it's basically called a co-pilot. And the salesperson, Jim, here is saying, hey, show me all renewals that are upcoming in this that are coming up in this quarter. And it shows you a list of customers who are up for renewal, and he specifically focuses on this particular deal, Holden Robotics, and says, can you share me some contract details? So it goes back into the CPQ system, looks at the previous contract, looks at all the entitlements, and it tells you this is the existing set of products and customers and existing set of line items and the terms that they have. Now, Jim says, okay, let's go ahead, and they want to renew this, and let's renew this, except they want to remove one of the products out. They no longer need it. And he asks the CPQ system to come back with a renewal quote. And the system, within a matter of a few seconds, takes the existing thing, creates a new renewal quote, and applies their standard 20% discount that they had previously contracted with. And it does that. One of the other things that it also does is it automatically checks inventory. In this particular case, this is not a software as a service example. NAFCOM Security is a security products company, and there is some hardware that they sell as well. So in this case, as part of this quote, this is an example of the data integration that I was talking about. It automatically checks that some of the items that have been included in the quote are no longer available or are not available in the particular warehouse. So it says, hey, there is no availability here, but there is a substitute product that you could add. Would you like to check the inventory of that and include that? And if Jim says yes, it will automatically update the quote and recommend the right kind of bundles in place and substitutions, and updates the quote with those product. One of the things that it also catches based on the guardrails and the new rules that have been put in place is a couple of these products have a maximum discount of 25%. And in this case, Jim wants to up the discount to 30% in order for him to be able to go out and close the renewal. And so, which means it requires an approval. So the system will automatically craft the approval and send it out to his sales manager and the corresponding regional sales manager and the sales operations director to request a larger discount beyond the standard 35%. And once that's done, in the meantime, while those approvals are in place, coming in place, Jim says, hey, let's go ahead and create a proposal for this with the standard, with these 30% approval on all of these items, except for those two items. Just leave it at the 25%. So the system will go in there and automatically update the quote, generate a proposal. And in this case, it looks like they use DocuSign. And so it puts it in the right format, whether it's a PDF or a DocuSign template, and it uses that and puts it in a DocuSign envelope and prepares it. And with that, it automatically adds it up to the DocuSign queue for signature. It also adds it to the CRM under the deal for Holden Robotics, and gets that going. So you can see there you have it within a matter of a couple of minutes through a conversational interface with the power of AI. Now sellers can take advantage of the power of Mobileforce and take it to the next level by using some of these natural language processing features and some of the automation of the workflow. So that concludes my demo here, and would love to kick it back to Chris here to wrap up.
Yeah, Jagadish, it's exciting to see where the world is headed. As I mentioned earlier, the magic happens because of this tight integration between Mobileforce CPQ and HubSpot. Once we've pushed the information back over to HubSpot, I'm looking forward to future AI-based forecasting, like looking at SaaS churn analysis, the sales forecasting that Charlie mentioned earlier. Just once you get in HubSpot, there's a tremendous amount of things you can do. The customer journey that we talked about earlier, now that information's back over to give insights to the marketing team to optimize that journey, and the automations that already exist in HubSpot, like once a deal is closed, you can do automations that send customers onboarding communications. You can create a deal for the renewal 12 or 24 months in the future, and it goes into that renewal pipeline that I showed you earlier. Controlled access. You may want to control access to people that are paying for a license and the license has expired. And there's just many other things that can be done once you get the information back into HubSpot. So what I like to do is end a webinar like this with the 10% challenge. We probably interview 200 or 300 B2B businesses every year. And what we find consistently is within a certain B2B vertical, probably 10% of the companies are doing things like what we just showed you today and doing it well. So my challenge is you have met the people and the tools that can help you get to that 10%, and we're here to help you do it. So thank you for your time. And with that, we'll turn it over to Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jagadish. Thank you, Charlie. Some great tools, and I think we're all really excited about where the direction is headed with regards to AI making all of our lives so much easier. Cool. So we did have a few questions come in. The first one I will ask is addressed to Jagadish. This is a pretty practical question just about the ability to be able to create your own templates for proposals and using those within Mobileforce CPQ. They just want to know what kinds of file formats. Can it be PowerPoint or another file format? You want to address that?
Thank you, Christina. Thanks for the question. And yes, we do support most of the Microsoft Office formats. So you could use Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, even Microsoft Excel as the source file format for your templates. The most common one that we see is Microsoft Word. So you have typically, a Word-based template with your own branding and coloring, fonts, all that kind of stuff. And in the template, you typically add some placeholder tokens for our system in a particular format that you can learn. And it will automatically take that as the source of the proposal and blend that in with all of the all of the information from the quote and the CRM and generate an output PDF or send it over to an e-signature platform. You can also use PDF as a template as well as a starting point. So sometimes you might have completely locked down terms and conditions that you might want to use as an exhibit. So in that case, you could use that. So our system supports mix and match. So you could use a Word document for some part of the template and a PDF for the exhibits, and it can combine and collate all of that and generate a fully packaged PDF output for you.
Perfect. Thanks, Jagadish. Cool. Another question came in. This is kind of you guys all, I think everyone covered the themes of speed, efficiency, and automation across the board. So this particular question is just commenting on AI's role as part of the overall strategy, I think, for HubSpot, for Mobileforce, and for Open Path. So Charlie, why don't we start with you, if you wouldn't mind commenting on what is AI's role as part of HubSpot's overall strategy? Where do you see that? You guys have a ton of tools that you came out with. This is wonderful. Like where is
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is really only the beginning for HubSpot, for sure. It's hard to know where AI goes, but HubSpot's going to be along for the journey for sure. I mean, that's communicated to us in company-wide meetings all the time. And I think, honestly, the best way to answer it is, so our co-founder and CTO purchased the domain chat.com for tens of millions of dollars out of his own pocket because he's so bullish on conversational AI. So yeah, our investors are favoring HubSpot right now really heavily because of our AI roadmap, and I don't see us slowing down in terms of developing AI products here in the near future.
cool? Yeah, that's totally makes sense. Jagadish, you want to comment on that as well?
Just a couple of things. I mean, same thing. It's a start of a journey. You've seen some of the things that we're working on right here with our CPQ. We will continue to enhance it and evolve it. We are also quite interested in using machine learning as part of a product recommendation engine. That's something that's we are looking at as part of our roadmap. We're working pretty closely with our customers to understand what's the best way for us to provide that capability, where the sellers can be provided a very easy recommendation engine where it can recommend upsells and cross-sells based on what we've learned, based on previous quotes and previous history of what people in similar industries or similar types of customers have purchased. So stay tuned for some of those announcements.
Great, thanks, Jagadish. And then, yeah, Chris, do you want to comment on that as well? I think you had also mentioned in your presentation the closed loop between marketing, sales, CPQ. Why do you think that that's important as AI becomes more proficient? And
well, the big factor there is you can have, Charlie talked about earlier, all of these different solutions that are out there and not connected. What I see in our practice and the way we help companies strategically, pulling it all together in that one tight integration that fully supports that closed loop is going to be the game changer. There are a ton of discrete individual programs that aren't connected that can do some cool stuff. But as I said earlier, the magic happens when you get it all together in one tight location. So that's the reason we're bullish on both HubSpot and Mobileforce.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris. And then we've got another question for companies who want to get started with a CPQ solution. I think we had a couple questions come in around this, and answered some of them online, but I think we've got some curiosity around how, how's the best way to get started through the HubSpot marketplace. Do you want to take that one, Jagadish?
Yeah, we are a certified partner on HubSpot Marketplace. Mobileforce CPQ is available. It's very easy to try it. So if you have a HubSpot instance, for example, you might have a sandbox instance or a test instance that you're testing it out. It's very easy to log into HubSpot, go to the Map Marketplace and look up Mobileforce CPQ and just click install. It's as simple as that. And when you install it, it actually does come with some sample data, sample templates. So you can actually create a sample quote within a matter of minutes and kind of see how it works, that kick the tires. And then from there on, there's a lot of user guides that are available. We certainly will be readily available with specialists who can help you with taking your own products and services and adding it to that instance, guiding you how you can do that. There are import tools and other templates that you could just simply change and adapt to then pick up your products and services and code them. So it's a fairly easy onboarding process. Having said that, as I said, it's always coupled with our specialists who are ready to help you. So as you trial that, you will automatically get an email with some contacts to our specialists. So you could certainly reach out and take their advice on best practices in how to kind of incorporate your sales motions and your data integration and rules into that system.
Yeah, and I would like to add also that a good implementation partner like Open Path that understands HubSpot extremely well and can help you unpeel yourself from Salesforce if Salesforce has become too expensive and now redundant with this capability that you can have within HubSpot. So we can certainly help you strategize how to work through that implementation.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chris. So great questions. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, we are about at the end of time here. I wanted to thank you, everyone, so much for your time, and thanks for joining us. And yeah, we hope to chat with you soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.